Welcome everybody to the Cypher Room with my boy Marty Cynclaire.
You dig?
What's up, man?
Not much, man. You know, we here. We in the Cypher Room. You feel me?
Yeah. So where you from, Marty?
I am from Passaic, New Jersey, Uptown Harrison Street. That's where I'm from. Born and raised.
Okay, okay. What's the story behind your name, Marty Cynclaire?
So, before I even get to that, I used to go by my government name, Marsalis Davis. And I was named by my grandmother. And I got Marsalis from the famous trumpet player. And so my grandmother raised me up on blues, jazz, swing, all types of music like that. Reason why I chose Marty Cynclaire is Marty is a nickname of mine that everybody called me when I grew up. Grandmother always called me Marty, Marty Ma, whatever it may be. And Cynclaire is my middle name. I got that from my grandmother. So I just put the two together, and now we got Marty Cynclaire.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
So tell me, like, what inspired you to make music?
What inspired me to make music had to be I'm gonna say this prior to the day I die. It was to record music. I would say is my boy Kickback Kev, one of my best friends. I always loved music growing up. I was always listening to music growing up. But he really put the battery in my back to record. Had to be when I was 14, sophomore year. We was in tutoring for math class and shit. We were just there just to mac with chicks, whatever. We weren't really trying to learn something. But we in the back of the class just making beats, doing raps and shit. And then one day same day he tells me yo, I got a setup at the crib. We should try to make some music or some shit. And ever since then, it's been stuck with me ever since.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your biggest influence in music, and what inspired you?
I say my biggest influence is definitely my grandmother. Like I said, she definitely put that music-esque in my ears. Just hearing the Temptations, Smokey Robinson back in the day. And you had James Brown, Teddy Pendergrass. That's what that's what I grew up on. As well as I got older, I couldn't really listen to rap like that unless it was Will Smith. But
so you was getting jiggy with it.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You feel me? But before rap, I always grew up around my uncles as well, so they was listening to country music, western music, rock, electronic, and all that. So that's where my music influence comes from. But I could say today, my music, you'll get a taste of all of that in my music when you listen to it. But I would say today, it's more on that alternative-esque.
Okay. Okay. So, walk us through your creative process.
So, my routine is basically, I just go with the flow unless I have, say, I have an album idea and there's a certain way I want it to sound. Then I sit down and work on my producer styles. And we just chopping up beats. What kind of sound we want it to be, dark and melodic, or on a really rappity rap side. You know what I'm saying? Conscious rap, whatever. For the process, for my album process, I really just shut the world off.
Okay.
I lock in and I'm just writing. I go through a set of beats and just write, record. It's pretty much I'm experimenting, but it's experimenting with a purpose. Because a lot of experiments can be just experimenting. You just put it out just to see what it do. But I'm actually experimenting with what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And I know that once I put this together, that's how it's gonna work. But let's just say I'm doing just a single. My process for me to get ready is just I like to hit a beat first. I like to dissect the beat, learn what key it's in. If you didn't know, when you rap, sometimes you gotta be in that key. learning the different pockets that it has, what I can do here, what could I do there, should I do like a melodic singy rap, or should I just do like straight vocals rap, clear cut to the point. So yeah, it's a lot of me just sitting down with what I have in front of me and just literally taking notes and breaking down everything piece by piece.
Nice, nice. That sounds really good, man.
Appreciate that.
What's your favorite song
Ooh.
that you ever created?
That I ever created?
Yeah.
Fuck. That's hard. No, it's not. It's not hard. One of my favorite songs, and a lot of people will say this is their favorite song too. It's the song called Druggy Buddies. Now I know that the title sounds outrageous, but that's what I like to do with my music. I like to make people feel uncomfortable. So when I had the song come out, everybody thought it was like, oh, it's about drugs. This is what's wrong with the community and shit like that. I was like, have you listened to the song? Now I get it. You know, presence is everything. You know, how you present is everything. So Druggy Buddies, that title is going to be looked at like, what the fuck? But if you listen to the song is based off of me putting myself in the shoes of a friend that had an alcoholic addiction. So that's what Druggy Buddies is about. It's me putting myself in their shoes and seeing through their lens what they're going through. Now myself, I won't say I had an addiction, but I've had, you know, my go-rounds with certain drugs, you know what I'm saying? And the shit feels good once you in, like, if you're in a dark spot, the shit feels good. I'm gonna just be honest.
Right.
Not that I'm condoning it, but there's times where you want to get those, you know, those feel-good moments, and you just want to try to find an escape. So when I perform this track, it's not to present drugs. It's to understand that there's another way, and there's
right.
people out here who want to either help you or get you to a better place.
Okay.
And that's like.
So you're basically bringing awareness.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. And now that might get construed to the melodics and, you know, the 808s, whatever it may be. But like when I tell people who listen to my music, you're not gonna get it unless you sit down with it. Like if you listen to it the one time, you're not gonna get it. You have to really sit down and like literally listen to what's going on in the track.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you prefer working alone, or you like to collab with other artists?
I like before. Okay, so before I wanted to collab, like coming up, I always wanted to collab with everybody, you know. But then I realized, you know, everybody wants to put you in a box, saying like, oh, I'm not on their level yet, whatever it may be. So I taught myself how to do everything. You know what I'm saying? I might not be the best singer, but I can hit a fucking note. You know what I'm saying? I might not be the best rapper, but I can keep up with your favorite rapper. I promise you. Now, today, I'm getting back into the mode because I have so much individual music just by myself. A couple of years ago, I put a whole album out with just me. That was like 20-something songs. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can do it, but now I feel like I want to get more in tune with, you know, the different sounds that's going on. So yes, I'm very open to collabing with everybody.
So how do you navigate through the music industry?
That's a good question. Just knowing the rooms you in, knowing where you're going, knowing what door you about to walk through, and knowing who's behind that motherfucker. Also networking. The only way you're gonna find success in the music industry is just networking. Now, I'm not saying success is, you know, wearing all these kinds of jewelry and designer clothes and shit, because a lot of people think that's what success is in the music industry. Success is being able to provide over the passion that you love, whether it's music or not. That's success. And that's how you should navigate in this. If you're in this industry, that's the way you should navigate. Because if you think about it, if you got 100 fans, say you got 100 fans, and you pricing merchandise at, you got a hoodie for $100. That's
crazy.
You know what I'm saying? You got 100 core fans buying your merch at $100. You can live off that a month. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Or a year. So that's how, in my eyes, and I had to learn this like the hard way type shit. You know what I'm saying? But once I started taking it serious, you got to run. At the end of the day, it's a business. So you have to have that business side. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have that business mind or a little bit of it, you're not gonna get anywhere.
Right. I think from my experience, I've seen Nipsey Hussle apply that.
Yeah.
You know, when he was selling his mixtape for $100,
yeah,
he sold out the first day.
You know what I'm saying?
And he got that idea from a what was it, a cheese steak that cost $100.
Yeah.
And he put it towards the music and succeeded.
That's what it
is.
That's,
man. You know.
And people might look at that like, especially, Nip wasn't even as big as he was at that time.
Where recipes to Nip. Matter of fact, this is his anniversary. Matter of fact, April 1st.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, so recipes to Nip, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be hard to get those core fans, but once you start getting 5, then you get the next 10, then you get the next 10, then you get the next 10. It's up to you to be consistent. You know, a lot of people are gonna be asking you like, "Oh, why is your hoodie $50?" I'm not paying for that. Then those aren't your real fans. Those aren't your real people.
Right.
You got motherfuckers out here going buying fucking $5,000 hoodies from Gucci. I only wore that bitch once.
Yeah. You can't even, after you take a picture in the gram, you don't want to wear it no more.
Exactly. And nobody from Gucci know you.
Yeah.
But you know me, who's selling a hoodie right here that you can support for $50 that can give you the same material.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, man. So, all right. So you've been an artist for how long?
Artist since I was 14. So, yeah. About 12, 13 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, like, what's the biggest lesson you've learned as an artist?
Do not fall into imposter syndrome. And now what I mean by that is like, yes, you need to find somebody you can take influence from, copy their style just a little bit, but you, at the end of the day, you have to morph your own style. You know, because nowadays everybody has like the same sound, yada yada yada. Like, there's always gonna be somebody who did this, but once you sit back and like, okay, how can I make this mine? You know what I'm saying? That imposter syndrome is you're gonna be looked at as a tool. You know what I'm saying? Though a lot of artists are getting found for doing the same thing, but look how they're being used. Industry is coming, or labels is coming to them, hey, we'll give you $1 million just because you sound, well, they won't say it, but if you read the contracts, that's basically they saying, hey, we're gonna give you $1 million because you sound like this, and I think we can make money off of you. The artists who don't know nothing, $1 million, word? Cool. Now you're $1 million in debt.
It's a setup, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So what I say is just learn, just be your true self. If you're gonna do this music shit, be true to yourself. Tell your story, bro. That's it. That's all I can really say is just tell your story, be true to yourself, and be true to what you really want to accomplish. That's it.
I like that, man. Who would you work with in the music industry if you had the opportunity to work with someone?
Right now, definitely St. John.
Okay.
St. John, yeah, and Kendrick.
Yeah.
That's what I want to work with.
You know, when I listen, I've heard your music. You know, this is why I brought you here.
Thank you, bro.
And while I was listening to your music, it gave me that vibe where you already made it. Like
Thank you.
You're already traveling the world. When I listen to your music, that's what I get from it.
Thank you, bro.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're already signed. You just sound so good in these beats, man. And
thank you, bro.
I need y'all to go check Marty Cynclaire ASAP.
You did.
For real, for real.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Now that we here, so what type of message are you conveying through your music?
Like I said before, I can't repeat this. I could repeat this over and over again because it's the truth. Stay true to who the fuck you are. That's it. Because a lot of us, like I said before, we can fall to imposter syndrome. You know, we want, and I could say this because I was one of those people. You know what I'm saying? Because I was one of those people who was like, oh, I need to do this so I can get there. And then as I started to like morph my sound into what I, you know, grew up with, what I was surrounded with, the music I was surrounded with and always kept listening to, and then just morphed it into this fucking thing created into Marty Cynclaire. And that's the message I'm trying to, what I am. It's just passing through my music is, bro, just be true to yourself. You know, tell your stories. Tell everything you've seen through your eyes, basically. That's it.
Yeah, when I went to your show in Baseline, and I seen you do your thing, and I seen you perform, I was like, wow, like, this guy has so much energy, and he just moved the whole building. Like, you just see everybody with a big smile on their face, dancing. Like, I saw that, and I'm like, this kid is special, man. I gotta get this interview.
Thank you, bro.
For real. But
yeah, man. That's 10 years. That's the overnight shit people talk about, bro. But it's really all the years I put in. Like, before, I never wanted to perform, bro. When I first started, just because it was just like, I just wanted to make the music. But then after I started, you know, I had my certain terms where, you know, music was my only outlet. You know, I couldn't go to certain people to talk about certain shit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? There were certain times I was fucking scared to talk to God about certain shit. You feel me? But the music was always there, and I put it in the music, and you can hear that shit. You know, when I make music, it's not like, how can I say this? Yes, I want to do it for the lyricism, for the message, you know, for the fun time. But most of it, I make my music to create moments. You know, when you put on my music and you listen, it reminds you of a moment when the first time you heard this, or wherever the fuck you heard this. That's what I like to create.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like where this is going. Let me see. I'm gonna think of a good one for you.
Okay. Okay. What's up?
Alright, so I know you do the fashion.
Yeah.
I seen you swag it up crazy.
Thank you, bro.
You know, tell me a little bit about that.
Fashion. So, all right. So back in the day, I used to be overweight. I know I look a little chubbier now, but that's because I'm a fiance now, and she makes me happy, and she cooks.
Good.
She's Puerto Rican too, so
I already know.
So that's that. But back in the day when I was a kid, I was like super overweight, and I always kept telling my mom, like, I want to wear like fucking the GQ shoots and all this other type shit. So as I got older, I started going to the gym, and I want to say once I hit like high school, that's when I dropped all the weight, and I was like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's where I started to get a little bit of the style and shit like that. It wasn't until college that's where I was dressing like fucking tailor pants with my fucking Oxfords on, tie, all types of shit. I got photos too. You might find them on Facebook. But that's where I got my style from. And then as time went on, I started to get like, damn, I just want to be comfortable. So I'm trying to find a way of just making comfy look luxury in a sense. Like that old money look.
Yeah.
Like how our people used to dress back in the day.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to figure out how I can make that into my style now.
Okay, so how do you get the name Uptown Cowboy?
Oh yeah. All right. So I literally just came up with this shit probably I was talking to my girl about that shit too, because I got a song called Whiskey Highways, and I was telling her, I was like, yeah, I want to like tap into that Western sound that my grandmother used to play watching Bonanza and all that other shit, and I just want to try it out, see what happens. So I made Whiskey Highways, and she's like, I love this shit. And so I have a couple of projects. It's gonna be like an Uptown Cowboy kind of like trilogy. And so the first one is gonna give you like that, more of that grit Western kind of feel, but it's gonna be a mixture of that with, Uptown music. You know what I'm saying? And that real gritty, like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's just like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I understand that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's gonna be a lot of that. So really, it just came to me, to be honest. I ain't really like have a deep dive or anything. I was like, well, I like wearing cowboy boots, and I'm from Uptown. So basically, that's just.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I wish I had like a whole detail of how that name came about, but nah, it's just that.
All right, so you have any upcoming projects you want to share with the audience?
Yeah, I have a new. I'm working on 3 EPs right now. Like I said, I'm doing a trilogy right now. So the first, I say, not disc, but the first chronicle. Let's just say that. It's called Uptown Cowboy, and it's called Highway 46. You know what Route 46 is. So it's just giving you, like I said, it's gonna be based around where I come from. Like I said, I like to be true to myself, and this music is gonna be shit that I grew up with, basically. And it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be sad. It's gonna be fucking put you in a thinking spot. It's gonna be a lot of grit. It's gonna be a lot of cowboy shit.
Okay. Yeah, so let's make sure we go cop his trilogy.
You know what
I'm saying? And hopefully there's a lot of traffic.
Oh yeah.
Coming through. Because Route 46, traffic go crazy. It's gonna be traffic for his albums, I'll tell you that.
Yes, sir.
For a fact.
Yes, sir.
Marty Cynclaire, everybody.
Appreciate you guys. Y'all be easy.
The Cypher Room, first episode. It's a wrap, baby.
You did.
It's Focus. Your host.
Yeah.
Passaic, New Jersey. Stand the fuck up, you heard?